The security of the nation depends on the men and women who serve in the 5 rings of the Pentagon. Before any military action can be taken anywhere in the world, the mission must be planned and approved in the outer and most important ring, the E-ring.
Good morning, Yankee 6. This is Reindeer 1. Over.
What's so damn good about it, Reindeer 1?
Somebody spit in your eggnog, Yankee 6.
It's Christmas.
You're about to deliver 3 tons of presents to some very happy campers in Chakran.
Well, hell, when you put it that way, Reindeer 1, ho, ho, ho.
What's your ETA?
We should be skids to the stones in less than 2 hours.
When Santa starts to blow, go, go, dig that crazy Santa Claus. Well, I do believe he will bring some crazy toys. You better be good this Christmas Eve. Jingle jangle, jingle jangle, jingle jangle.
The birds should be on the ground by 0600 local time. They'll link up with Sergeant Gutierrez and his boys. Another couple hours to offload the goodies, and Operation Payback should be mission accomplished.
Careful, kid. Remember the last time somebody used the words mission accomplished?
Only this time we hope we're going to be right, sir. The people of Chakran helped me and my boys out when we are on the run from a nasty band of Taliban back in '01.
That's the least we can do. Give them food, clothing, and fuel. Get them through that harsh Afghani winter.
It's a good thing you're doing, sir.
These people deserve something besides war, repression, and earthquakes.
I checked the manifest. It's a little more than humanitarian aid. You got some pretty fancy small arms going in that shipment.
Well, the Taliban is resurgent. Our friends in the region need the means to protect themselves.
Which is why Charlie and his team will be down there doing a little advanced weapons training.
And speaking of protection, how about the SecDef's visit to the troops in Iraq?
Security's in place, ready for a successful landing in Baghdad, followed by Christmas dinner with the 101st Airborne.
And what about our Christmas dinner, Pierce? Is that all set for tomorrow?
Prime rib is marinating as we speak, sir.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Looking for Colonel McNulty.
You found him.
Master Sergeant Meeks, sir. Captain Shea's new ops NCO.
Oh, welcome to the building, Meeks. This is Major Tizniewski, Master Sergeant Pierce.
Captain Shea wanted me to deliver this to you, sir. It was classified and time sensitive.
Well, open it up, son.
Sir, I don't have clearance.
Are they letting hearing impaired into the Air Force these days, Master Sergeant? I said open it.
Yes, sir.
It's a fruitcake, sir.
I missed something?
Captain Shea and Colonel McNulty have been regifting the same fruitcake since Christmas '92, sir.
That's it. Well, that's good to know I'm performing such important duties now that I'm in joint operations.
Oh, come on, lighten up, Meeks. When you're dealing with life and death every day, you need a few laughs.
Colonel's right. Give it a chance. You might learn to like it here.
Yeah. Maybe I will.
J3 Special Operations Division, Master Sergeant Pierce speaking. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Admiral Cooper is requesting you both in the Nimic. Sir.
Three of our choppers just took fire 50 clicks north of Kabul.
Not Operation Payback.
Afraid so.
Were there any casualties, Admiral?
Negative. But we had to turn the birds back. I'm sorry.
Do we know who shot them?
Lead chopper pilot thinks it was Taliban.
But our latest intel indicates the nearest Taliban are well to the north.
Well, it looks like our intel was wrong.
Gentlemen?
Well, Mr. Murphy, what's public affairs doing in the command center on Christmas Eve?
This little humanitarian mission of yours, I'm recommending to the SecDef that we scrap it.
Mr. Murphy, this little mission is going to save 200 lives over the next 6 months.
Well, then maybe you can try it again after the New Year, Major.
Sir, bad weather sets in, we'll never get the supplies to those villagers. They'll either starve or get slaughtered by the Taliban.
Look, I'm sorry. But public support for overseas military actions is waning. What we need are feel-good stories. Like the SecDef having Christmas dinner with 2,000 troops and a dozen grateful Iraqi dignitaries. Not special ops aircrews coming home in flag-draped coffins.
Sir, we're at war. There's nothing feel-good about it.
And if we fail to win the war with the press, we're not going to be able to help anybody, including your Afghani villagers. The mission is a no-go.
So much for peace on earth, goodwill toward men.
The Chacaron mission has been scrubbed.
They pulled the plug on us, Charlie.
Don't let him do it, JT.
Look, man, this is way above my pay grade. The SecDef is having dinner with the troops in Iraq, and they don't want to have any bad press about a failed humanitarian mission.
JT, I've been waiting for 4 years to do this. You promised me, and I promised them.
I know.
I went into that village last week. I got them all together, and I told them, in gratitude for what you did for me and my buddies back in '01, the people of the United States are sending you 3 tons of food, clothing, and weapons.
Charlie, the thing...
Do you remember Arif?
Yeah, the kid who wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah. When I told him they were sending medical supplies and books, he was so happy. He cried, JT. He actually cried.
You lay a better guilt trip on me than my mother, you know that?
Well, they saved our lives, boss. You, me, Bobby. None of us would be celebrating Christmas today if it wasn't for them.
Look, I'm trying, but humanitarian missions aren't at the top of anybody's list around here, you know?
JT, the Taliban attacked these people before. Conscripted the men they didn't kill, pulled the girls from school. These lunatics know that the villagers assisted the U.S. They move back in again, JT. It's not going to be about humanitarian aid. It's going to be about preventing a massacre.
Which we might be able to do if we got them the arms in that shipment.
We're going to have to get eyes on, boss, see what they're really up against.
All right, I'll get a drone up, get some photos of those caves, retask a satellite.
Pictures from space aren't going to do us much good if the Taliban don't want to be seen.
Okay, so the humanitarian mission's out. That doesn't mean you and your guys can't get out there and do some tactical recon.
Maybe we can get this mission back on track.
Now that's the Christmas spirit.
Mama taught me never to show up empty-handed. Pierce, I gotta bring something to Christmas dinner.
Thank you, Colonel, but all I need is your company.
What you got this time, Meeks? Nutcracker and mistletoe?
Actually, sir, Captain Shea sent me to update you on security for SecDef's visit to Baghdad. The Kappa F-15's flying in support, along with an EA-6B Prowler.
You could have picked up the phone, Meeks. Would have been a lot faster.
I enjoy the exercise, sir. I mean, the winter in D.C. kills my jogging regimen.
Oh, you're a runner?
Sound body, sound mind, sir. Just got to adjust to the cold. D.C.'s a little icier than Houston.
Uh-huh. Is that where you're from? Your family still there?
Yeah, Mom, Pops, 3 sisters.
No wife. Gotta make for a lonely Christmas.
I'll be all right, sir. I should get back.
That sounds like someone could use an invitation to Christmas dinner.
Today's not the holiday to be playing Cupid, Colonel.
It's prime rib, Pierce. It's not a date. You know, I gotta say, it seems like you two have a lot in common.
What are you trying to say, Colonel?
Pierce, I would say the same thing if the man were purple. I'm just trying to see that you have a little fun. That's all.
Colonel, who needs fun when I have you?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hey, Admiral Cooper. What can I do for you?
Well, I was going to ask you a favor, but I can see you're ready to get out of here.
Well, I'm catching a flight to San Francisco to see my family.
Good for you, Miss Liston. Nothing like being home for the holidays.
Yeah, nothing like it.
Oh.
My flight doesn't leave for a few hours. How can I help?
I have an old Vietnam buddy in town, and he's having trouble getting his service records. We used to fly together. Most of the work that we did was classified.
And you want me to help him jump through the legal hoops to get his records released?
I probably should have gone to a less senior staff attorney. But this man's a decorated war hero. And we all know how effective you can be when it comes to putting the fear of God in the bureaucrats.
What are you saying? People are scared of me, Admiral? What's the gentleman's name?
Colonel James Tisnewski, Sr., U.S. Marine Corps retired.
My old man's here? In the building?
He didn't tell you he was coming?
No. How did you find out?
Well, Admiral Cooper asked me to access the service records. He's going to be in my office in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Look, I know you two aren't close, but I thought you might want to see him.
Well, he obviously didn't want to see me, right? Otherwise, he would have called.
Well, maybe he's planning on calling you after he's done with me.
Samantha, look, the last time my father and I talked was when my mother served him with papers. That was 3 years ago.
I know how difficult it is to have divorced parents.
Are you kidding? When we finally left, we threw a party. I'm serious. I was in charge of the booze. My sister did the decorations. My brother sent out the invites.
Well, you might want to take the high road, Major. It is Christmas.
You know how many Christmases we spent together, Sonny? 0. Not a 1. You know why? He always volunteered for service.
Well, he's here now.
If you want to help us, Samantha, that's fine. I'm not going to let him ruin my holiday.
Take some photos, uplink them to CENTCOM.
CENTCOM just sent us thermal imagery from Sergeant Gutierrez and his recon team. They're reporting 100 Taliban fighters, 12 clicks north-northeast of Shakaran and closing. Looks like they're being forced down the mountains from the weather. Captain?
A storm is coming in from the north, heavy precipitation and high winds.
Meaning these fighters are probably going to continue heading south looking for shelter, either in these caves here in Grid 9...
or the village of Shakaran.
Now, they're on foot. In these kind of conditions, they could get there in about 6 hours.
Sir, CENTCOM is asking you to break in.
Go ahead.
Admiral, we have a secure link established with Task Force Reindeer in Afghanistan.
Patch them through.
How's the weather, Sergeant?
It's not all the clouds I'm worried about, sir. It's all the uninvited guests.
Well, maybe it's time for you to bug out.
Sir, if we peeled out now and those Taliban move back into the village, they're not going to have any way to defend themselves.
Well, you're not going to take on 100 Taliban with 4 soldiers, Sergeant.
No, sir, but I thought we'd be in a position to laser-designate airstrikes.
I'm not sure anyone's going to be authorizing airstrikes, Sergeant. Not with the bad weather.
Maybe we won't have to, sir. Captain, what are the odds of this storm changing course?
Well, based on the computer models, I'd say there's a 30% chance it'll take a turn to the west within the next 2 hours.
Admiral, if the Taliban are just moving to avoid the storm, there's a strong possibility they'll change course when it does.
30% is not exactly a slam dunk, Major.
All we need is a small Christmas miracle, sir. Not only will the threats of the villagers dissipate, but we could revive Operation Payback.
All right, Sergeant, I want you to sit tight, and we'll pray for that Christmas miracle.
Settling in?
I'm trying. It's not easy when you've been looking for in-processing for 45 minutes.
Didn't you spend 7 years as a loadmaster for the Spectre gunship squadron? And aren't they known for getting anywhere in the world at a moment's notice?
You've been checking up on me, Master Sergeant?
Apparently you didn't read the Pentagon NCO handbook. Rule number 1, always know who you're dealing with.
And what's rule number 2?
Say less than you know.
Does that mean you're not going to tell me the way they're in processing?
If you don't mind my asking, Colonel Tisnewski, you retired 15 years ago. Why are you just now looking for your service records?
I've seen a lot of interesting stuff in my day. Thought maybe some folks want to read about it.
You're writing a book?
Put you down for an autographed copy.
Well, Colonel, certainly you're aware that the Pentagon does not release classified information for personal use, especially not a book.
You know, Admiral Cooper said you were a smart cookie. Can I be honest with you?
By all means.
I got a bum liver. It's not what you think. Not a boozer, I never was. But I got a bad case of hepatitis C.
I'm sorry,
Problem is, the medicine costs $40,000 a year. The VA's not going to cover it unless I can prove it was service-related.
And you're sure it is?
Well, I received a battlefield transfusion in 1968. Was in the jungle. Conditions weren't exactly sanitary.
And does your son know about this?
My son. You know Jimmy?
Yes, we do a lot of work together in the Special Operations Division.
Well, my son and I aren't actually that close. He resents me for not being around when he was a kid, and he's right. I don't blame him. But I'm certainly not going to bother him with my problems now.
Well, he is your son. He might want to know.
Liz, listen, could you just make those calls for me?
Sorry to be Scrooge, kid, but I just got some bad news from the weatherman.
The storm hasn't changed direction.
And neither have the Taliban. They could be in the village in 4 hours.
Sir, we drove the Taliban out 4 years ago. It cost a lot of money and a lot of lives. We let those fanatics get another foothold. It'll all be for nothing.
You got another idea?
How about if we used a C-130, flew above the bad weather, dropped the payload from a higher altitude, out of the range of the Taliban's guns? That way, if they do try to take Shakaran, the villagers can use the weapons to drive them out.
But how do we hit the target? If we miss the mark, we end up arming and resupplying the Taliban, not the villagers.
Master Sergeant Meeks was a loadmaster. He's fresh from the field in Iraq. He could tell us what toys the Air Force has that could help us.
You've been hanging out with Meeks?
Just helping him get acclimated, sir.
I don't remember getting that kind of treatment when I was new to the building.
I don't think she'd even get you coffee, would she?
With this remote guidance system, we can resupply ammo, drop ordnance, or deliver targeted attacks to precise coordinates. With laser targeting, it's 90% accurate.
Well, laser designators are standard issue for all special ops teams in Afghanistan, so...
Well, then, sir, you could attach one of these remote guidance devices to your payload, drop it from 10,000 feet, land in the bed of a pickup, doing 60 on the interstate.
Well, how does it work?
The loadmaster sends the laser-designated coordinates to the guidance unit. It locks on through GPS. The computer tells the motor to adjust the tethers in the chute, and... bingo.
Air Force have any of these bad boys in Afghanistan?
Negative, sir. Boys in Baghdad got an exclusive.
So how do we get the devices from Baghdad to Kabul?
Well, to get a plane to deliver them, you'll need a joint air tasking order.
Well, what are you waiting for, Pierce?
24 hours minimum just to get it up the chain of command.
So what we need is a plane already in theater to take these devices from Iraq to Kabul without the bureaucracy.
And how are you supposed to do this, Major? Santa Claus?
What about Cowboy 1?
The Secretary of Defense's plane?
We got a sack full of toys. All we need is a sleigh.
Are you insane? You can't use the SecDef's plane on a mission.
I think you're missing the big picture, sir.
I'm the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs. I don't miss the big picture, Major. I paint it.
Then be a visionary, sir. The SecDef having dinner with the troops, that's paint by numbers. Now, the SecDef canceling its Christmas dinner and rerouting its plane to assure the success of a humanitarian mission that will save the lives of villagers in Afghanistan who risked their own lives for American Special Forces back in 2001. Now, that's a masterpiece.
Does he ever come up for a breath?
You have to admit, sir, that's a pretty good Christmas story.
All right, let's get the SecDef on the horn.
And you think the SecDef will go for it?
You kidding? I could sell ice to Eskimos.
Wish I could have been a fly on that one. How long do you think it's gonna take?
Well, as soon as Cowboy 1 lands in Baghdad, Air Force will load up the remote guidance devices, refuel, and make the hop to Kabul.
Roger that. I'll have the boys on the airbase on the other end standing by ready to load up supply pallets. How long you figure it's gonna be? About 5 hours?
Sounds about right. So stay warm, stay alert, and hey.
Yeah, boss.
Be good, for goodness sake.
I talked with your father, Major.
Let me guess. He said you're wasting precious reproductive years working a man's job.
He was very gracious, actually.
That's because you're not family. And he probably wanted something from you. Did he tell you his war stories? Flying Phantom F-4s and killing Viet Cong with his bare hands? Did he ask you to pray with him?
He's sick, you know.
Oh, man has never seen a doctor in his life. You're serious?
3 tours in Vietnam. People's lives catch up with them.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Jimmy.
So what brings you to the Pentagon on Christmas Eve?
Nothing. Just having a cup of coffee, reading the newspaper.
Why don't you just cut the crap just for once?
Hey, you watch your step, Jimmy.
I know you sent an appeal to the Veterans Administration asking them for help with your medical bills for hepatitis C.
Now, who told you that? The blonde lawyer?
She thought I'd want to know.
That's not any damn business.
Look, Pop, whether you like it or not, we're family. So if you need somebody's help navigating through the bureaucratic minefields around here, you should have come to me first. I know my way around. I can help you cut through the red tape.
Does that mean you're a secretary now?
You know, sir, you can insult me all you want. It doesn't change the fact that if you don't get this medication, you're gonna die.
You think I'm afraid of dying?
I think you ain't done making us miserable. Otherwise, why would you come all the way over to the Pentagon just to sort this out?
Look, son, I don't need anybody's help, and I never have. Like I told you when you were growing up, a real soldier fights his own battles.
Roger that, sir. I just hope you don't let your pride kill you.
Major?
Miss Liston, thought you'd be heading for the airport.
Well, I just wanted to see if you found your father okay. Your father's here, Major? I hope you're inviting him for Christmas dinner. Plenty for everybody.
Thank you, Sergeant, but I don't think that'd be a very good idea. I'll catch up.
Yes, sir.
Look, Sonny, I appreciate your concern, but the old man made it pretty clear he wants me to stay the hell out of this.
Well, he did ask for my help, so I have made a few calls about pulling his service records. You know, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Apparently, he was off the book for most of his time in Vietnam.
He was part of MAC-VSOG.
You know how I feel about acronyms.
Military Assistance Command, Vietnam Special Operations Group. It was the precursor to SOG.
Ah, like father, like son.
Bite your tongue.
Look, just because those records aren't sitting on someone's hard drive does not mean that they don't exist.
Sonny, this isn't your problem. It's his, all right? So go home, see your family.
You know what? I've already pushed my flight. I have plenty of time.
Why are you doing this?
Maybe because the director of the Joint Staff asked me to. Or because there's a man that's alone and sick at Christmas. Or maybe because I just have trouble saying no to men named Tisnewski.
Ma, I planned special operations all around the world. I'm sure I can handle some roast beef. I gotta go. Yes, 5 o'clock. Love you too.
Husband.
Mother. You're becoming a regular around here.
Just keeping you in the loop, Master Sergeant. Cowboy 1 has landed in Baghdad.
And the remote guidance system?
They're being loaded onto his plane as we speak, and they'll be on their way to Kabul as soon as they refuel. Everything according to plan?
Well, it looks like you'll get out in time for Christmas dinner.
I'm not so big on Christmas. Besides, I doubt anyone at Fort Myer will mind if I show up a little late. You can't really dry out a processed turkey.
Pierce, get Major Tisnewski, we got a problem. Looks like we got a couple of Grinches. You see those spikes in the radar? They showed up just as Cowboy 1 landed in Baghdad, and then they disappeared.
Surface-to-air missiles?
My guess, insurgents waiting to take pot shots at planes taking off from Baghdad International.
So let's take them out.
Radar spike was gone before the Fast Reaction Force showed up.
Which means the missiles are shoulder-fired portable.
Assistant Secretary Murphy just called, sir. He wants the operation shut down.
Again?
In light of the new security threat, sir, he said, and I quote, "Tell the Major his think big PR gesture is turning into a disaster. Quit while you're behind."
Sir, we can smoke out the insurgents, remove the threat, keep the SecDef's plane safe.
Lay it on me, Major.
We use an iron hand, sir. An EA-6B Prowler, a decoy for SecDef's plane. It sends off a fake signal to make it seem like a big, juicy target, but it's maneuverable enough to avoid taking a hit. The insurgents will engage their SAMs, and they'll shoot at the decoy. The decoy can then trace the origin of the missile. We'll direct a combat air patrol of F-16s to that target.
Mustang.
Fire away, and watch them scatter. Just like that, Cowboy 1 is clear for takeoff.
Ah, nice work, Major.
Thank you, sir.
Now, what do you say we get Santa's sleigh to Kabul?
The most commonly Vietnam vets contracted hepatitis C was through battlefield blood transfusions.
That's how Colonel Tisnewski claims he was infected, but how do we prove that to the Veterans Administration?
Well, it's easier said than done, Miss Liston. My job at the Department of Defense is to advocate for the health concerns of all our men and women in uniform. Unfortunately, most of that health care is administered by the VA.
Which is even more of a bureaucratic nightmare than the Pentagon.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. Has Colonel Tisnewski considered private coverage?
Well, the way I understand it, the medication can cost up to $40,000 a year. Even if he could afford insurance, not many plans will pay for it because it's considered a pre-existing condition.
A rock and a hard place.
Well, I refuse to believe that there's nothing we can do for him.
If you have the time and the clearance, there might be a way to prove he was where he says he was.
I hope the files you're looking for are here, Ms. Liston, and not over in the National Archives in Maryland. That place is a maze.
Oh, as opposed to this place?
My guess is your friend's records are in microfiche, but the only microfiche machine we have has been acting very temperamental lately.
What time does your flight leave?
We got a special delivery coming your way, Sergeants. The SecDef's plane has just left Baghdad, loaded up some remote guidance devices, and it's on its way to Kabul.
That's incredible, sir.
Well, they don't call a man's plane Cowboy 1 for nothing.
We'll load those supply pallets on a C-130, Sergeant. Fly it over the village, and all you boys have to do is laser designate the targets.
I'd like you to thank the man for me, Admiral, on behalf of my men and the people of Shakran.
I will. The man you really should thank is Major Tisnewski. It was his idea.
I should have known.
Don't count your blessings yet, Sergeant. Mother Nature isn't cooperating. Captain?
The low-pressure area is widening, and the winds have picked up. I'm predicting up to 30 centimeters of snow starting in less than 6 hours.
We get those supplies in before the storm hits?
Affirmative, sir, but Sergeant Gutierrez and his team are going to be snowed in.
Nothing better than a white Christmas, sir. And I know a village where we can get a warm bed.
What I'm worried about is that those Taliban up on that ridge are going to get the same idea.
How do you propose keeping them out of the village, Major?
Sergeant, take a look at your map. Go tight on the grid at Sector 7. All right, there's a ravine bordering the village in the mountains. See it? There's a bridge there. B-146. Now, it's 3 clicks from the village, sir. But to get there, the Taliban would have to cross it. It's the only way in.
What are you suggesting, Major?
It's very simple, sir. We blow the sucker up. Hey, Charlie, I've got the specs on that bridge.
Man, I thought you said no gifts.
Oh, don't worry about it. Thank you, note. We got you some good eye mint, scaled it for pillar diagrams and span girths. I don't want you going commando.
Well, lay it on me, boss, because there's no way we're gonna get eyes on. Just gonna have to ride in and do that thing.
The pillars are 12 feet in circumference, reinforced concrete cross spans on a Roman arch. Now, the weakest spans will be in the middle third, far or near side.
Sounds like a job for my famous basket weave counterforce charge. It's gonna drop that sucker right into the ravine.
I'll burst you the pics and specs in 5 mics.
Roger that, Major. Sir, I'm gonna turn this Christmas into a 4th of July.
Mr. Weston, take a look at this. Major Cisnewski mentioned his father flew Phantoms in Vietnam. This after-action report is about an F-4 Phantom crash in northeastern Cambodia.
Well, that would explain why it's so top secret. The U.S. was never officially in Cambodia until 1970.
Well, the Nixon administration may not have admitted they were there, but according to this, both pilots got emergency blood transfusions. And look at the squadron number on Major Cisnewski's plane.
VMFA 232. It's a match.
Yeah.
Looks like you found your smoking gun, Counselor.
Lieutenant, can I get a copy of this?
You got a sit rep for me, Major?
Yes, sir. The task force is making its way to the bridge.
Oh, fine, Sally Ride.
Yes, sir. So far, the Taliban still haven't come down from the ridge.
So why the long face, kid? This morning you were chewing on candy cane.
Oh, this morning this mission wasn't so complicated.
Yeah, and your father was 800 miles away. Admiral Cooper mentioned that he was here. I hope you're bringing him to Pierce's for prime rib, because the man's a legend. I would love to swap war stories with him.
And I'm sure he would enjoy that too, sir, but he's not going to spend Christmas with me. Never has.
Always on duty, huh?
Always volunteered. What kind of man volunteers for work on Christmas?
I'm looking at one right now.
Oh, come on, sir, that's different. I don't have a wife and kid.
Did you ever wonder why that is?
Probably because I don't want to put anyone through the same ringer you put my mom through.
What makes you think you would? You've got the man's name, JT. That doesn't mean you're him.
You should probably pay attention. There are guys out there who do have families waiting on them, sir.
You're right.
I don't understand. What is this?
The report you requested.
But all the pertinent information's been blacked out. The crash site, the squadron number, the injuries sustained by the pilots.
Yes, ma'am. It's the redacted version.
But I need the original to send to the Veterans Administration.
Well, this is the only version authorized for release.
And why didn't you tell me that before I spent all this time?
Sorry, ma'am. I'm just filling in for the Joint Staff Historian. I assumed you knew.
This man devoted his whole life to fight for this country, and now he's gonna die because he can't beat the bureaucracy.
There might be another way.
So, Ms. Liston, you got some news for me?
Yes, sir. I found the after-action report for your crash, and there is a record of the transfusion.
Well, there you go. I told those lunkheads at the VA, just give me my damn pill.
Well, it isn't exactly that simple.
What are you talking about? It's cut and dry.
Well, if you'll just let me explain.
No, I'm tired of explanations. I'm tired of getting the runaround from a bunch of bureaucrats and lawyers who never lifted a finger to fight.
Sir, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Hey, can I get some help in here now?
We've got tangos in sectors 9 and 10 heading directly for our team's position.
Get CENTCOM to warn task force.
Major, Miss Liston just called. It's your father. He just collapsed. He's in the infirmary.
Thank you, Mr. Sergeant. Captain, get CENTCOM on the horn now.
Aren't you coming, sir?
I'm dealing with a situation here, Pierce.
I got this covered, son. You go.
No, sir, I want to stick around and make sure it gets done.
I'm giving you an order, Major.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing here?
Checking to see if you're gonna die on me.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
No such luck. Doctor says you're gonna make it. Just a high T-cell count and stress from your situation.
Stress is a Viet Cong anti-aircraft battery. This is nothing.
Well, God ain't gonna fix it for you. Your liver is failing. You need those meds.
Listen to you talking about God. When's the last time you went to church? Quit butting into my business, you and that lawyer.
That lawyer may have saved your life. Out of the goodness of her own heart, she postponed her own holiday plans to find you documentation on your blood transfusion.
A lot of good it's gonna do me. Information's classified.
She also discovered that Frank Dane was on that plane with you.
So?
So he's a witness. Apparently he makes a sworn statement corroborating your story about the transfusion. The VA has to grant you a service connection for your condition. You get your meds.
But isn't that statement classified?
Not if it doesn't reveal operational details.
That doesn't matter. I haven't seen Frank Dane in 15 years. I'm not dragging him into this.
Frank Dane was your best friend. Hell, you spent Christmas with him every year instead of your own family. Why was that, sir? I've been wondering about that. Was it so awful to be with us?
Christmas 1968 is when Frank and me got shot down. We made it, Kip Sweeney didn't. He was my wingman. The SAM-7 missile took him out. I saw him evaporate. Memory was beyond awful. I relived it every Christmas. Would you have me bring that back to my wife and kids?
Well, maybe it would have helped you to forget about it for a little while, to be with your own family.
Is that what you would have done? Gone home to cry on your woman's shoulder?
Sir, either you call Frank and ask him to corroborate your story, or I'll do it. And then I'll call everyone else you know, and I'll tell him I had to save the old man's ass.
Let's get these charges deployed. How we doing, boys?
A few more minutes, Charlie.
What's our status, sir?
We've got at least 65 tangos headed toward the bridge.
ETA?
Our first patrol will be there any minute.
What about Sergeant Gutierrez? Can we get the task force back on the horn?
I think they're a little busy, Major.
Can't hold them up forever, boys! We're at time! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Come on, Charlie, get a move on.
Peel! Peel!
Sorry, boys. Bridge is closed for repairs.
Target is destroyed, sir.
Don't celebrate yet, kid. The supply pallets have been loaded onto the C-130, but St. Nick's still got to get those toys down the chimney.
Roger that, sir.
Captain, call CENTCOM right away. Get that air corridor open now.
This is Angel 5-1. We're on approach. Angel 5-1, perimeter is secure. Begin your run.
You ready, Sergeant?
Waiting with open arms, sir.
Time on target. Time now. Got a green light. Go, go, go.
Roger that. We have visual 12 good canopies.
I hope the boys are recording this, Major.
Affirmative, sir.
Well, I want as much video as I can get. Press is going to eat this up.
No offense, sir. I'm a little more worried about those villagers getting their food.
We have laser designation of target.
First pallet is center massive drop zone. Nice shooting, Angel 1.
12 pallets deployed. 12 pallets confirmed received. Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Sergeant. From the United States Army to the people of Shakaran.
I'll tell him, sir. Merry Christmas, Arif.
Master Sergeant Meeks.
You still here? That's where the Christmas dinner to cook.
That's why I'm here. I thought, since you were new in town, that you wouldn't have a place to spend the holiday.
That's real nice of you. You sure your husband won't mind?
It's prime rib, Meeks. Not a day.
Sorry, I was just...
But if you want to have processed turkey dinner in the mess hall at Fort Myer, I'm not going to stop you.
All right. What time should I be there?
1,700 hours, sharp. And just for the record, Meeks, no, I'm not married. Not anymore.
You still here, sir?
Frank Dane still has my back after all these years.
Well, I'm glad it worked out.
And you can thank that lawyer for me.
I will.
Good to see you, son.
You're good at a lot of things, sir, but lying isn't one of them.
I'll see you around, Jimmy. Say hello to your mother for me.
Roger that, sir. Sir, some of us are getting together for Christmas dinner at Master Sergeant Pierce's house. She's a Marine. Asked me to invite you. Colonel McNulty's going to be there, too. He wanted to meet you.
What about you?
What about me?
Do you want me there?
Of course.
There's one thing you are better at than me.
What's that?
Lying. Merry Christmas, son.
Merry Christmas, Dad.
Where's he going?
No idea. Don't tell me you haven't left for the airport yet.
Oh, the flights were canceled. Bad weather in the Midwest.
Oh, look, Sonny, I'm sorry. If you hadn't been digging through classified files for my father, you could have been out of here last night.
Do I look broken up about it?
What, you don't want to go home?
You know, when I said that I understood what it's like to have divorced parents, mine compete for my time like I was a little girl. Negotiating a treaty between the two Koreas would be less stressful.
Less stressful than a visit from Cisniewski Sr.?
It's always easier to deal with someone else's family than your own.
Well, you can't spend Christmas alone, counselor.
What do you have in mind?
Yeah, we're friends with Master Sergeant Pierce. Is she in?
I think we met once or twice, Major.
You look beautiful, Jocelyn.
Thank you, Miss Liston.
Pierce, is that you?
You look like you could use some eggnog, sir.
Double rum, please.
Roger that, sir. Come on in.
Hey, everybody.
At approximately 5 p.m. local time, the Secretary of Defense landed at Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan to personally deliver technology that allowed U.S. Special Forces to distribute humanitarian aid to a remote Afghan village. The Secretary postponed his previously scheduled troop visit to Baghdad when he learned that the humanitarian mission might be scrapped unless the supplies could arrive before the bad weather set in. In a prepared statement, the Secretary apologized to the troops in Baghdad for missing Christmas dinner with them, and he wished all of our men and women in uniform around the world the happiest of holidays.